Welcome to Too Long Didn't Read Dota News. Tonight I have some juicy roster and team changes, a rundown of what to expect for the Kiev Major, highlights from DAC, and a few other little pieces of news that have accumulated along the way. Check the video description for timestamps to each topic. Now let's start off with some of those roster and team changes that I mentioned. Following their unexpected loss in the Kiev qualifiers and then a last place finish at DAC, NP owner Eternal Envy has kicked SVG and 1437 from the team, as revealed in a short YouTube statement from 1437. MSS has said on his stream that AUI will be moving to support and Envy will be playing carry once again. Na'Vi has announced that Siniko will be returning to the roster, replacing RMN. Digital Chaos is going through some extreme changes, with Sunsfan and Sajideen both announcing that they're stepping away from the organization for undisclosable reasons. The mass exodus from DC continues, as the players in the org have announced that they are parting ways. The previous DC roster will now be known as Thunderbirds, with Digital Chaos Organization picking up the mostly NA squad Team Onyx after they qualify for the Kiev Major. Now, this is going to cause some confusion heading into the Major, as both teams will be attending. However, hopefully we can keep it all straight. The DC org stated that their goal was to foster growth in the scene, so they believe that supporting a less established team such as Team Onyx fits more in line with their mission statement. A not-so-cryptic tweet from Adam343 implies that he had left Bears following their failure to qualify in the Kiev Major. Bears have also pulled out of Dream League Season 7, further suggesting that the team is disbanding, or at the very least undergoing changes. However, according to Forev on his stream, the team is done. mousesports is back in the Dota scene. A few months earlier than we're used to seeing, they normally pick up a team that qualifies for TI just in time to get their logo into the event, but this time they're jumping the gun and picking up the ex-Adphenem squad before they head into Kiev. Wings? Or no longer Wings? Now, there's a lot of rumors flying around about what exactly happened there, but regardless of all of that, the Team Wings roster is now known as Team Random, and they have stated that they are an independent team not currently under any organization. Now, outside of Pro Dota news, but some roster additions. Following their presence at Moonduck's Kiev Qualifiers Hub, Moonduck has officially welcomed Shainomad and Brax to the crew for their casting and analytical abilities. Now, there's a lot of upcoming tournaments, so let's take a look at what Dota has in store for us, starting out with the imminent Kiev Major. The Kiev Major is right around the corner. The main event will be from April 27th to 30th. It'll take place in the National Palace of Arts in Kiev, Ukraine. Talent invites were recently announced, with a lot more people invited than we're used to. Unnamed sources told Liquid that only casters would be in Kiev, with the rest of the talent at a studio off-site. So this explains why there's about twice as many analysts as we're used to seeing in that invite list. Now, we have some new faces with 1437, AUI 2000, and Conrad all joining the talent list. And then additionally, we have an old favorite in Syndran returning to either the casting or the analyst desk. He was previously playing on NIP, but it was just announced that Insania will be replacing him on the Ninjas in Pajamas roster. After invites and qualifiers, this is approximately what the 16 teams look like. Remember that Wings are now Team Random, Adphenem are mousesports, DC are Thunderbirds, and Onyx are now DC. Let's do a quick rundown of how the invited teams were performing before they got those invites, just to remind you of some of their recent performances. So Wings, now known as Team Random, were the TI champions, and they won the Beat Invitational and then came in that 3rd, 4th place finish at ESL. OG are your Boston Major champions. They had that 3rd to 4th place finish at ESL. They came 1st in elimination mode and 2nd at Dota Pit. mousesports, previously Adphenem, they came in 2nd at Boston and failed to qualify for either Star Ladder or DAC. Liquid won Star Ladder and qualified for DAC. EG won Dota Pit and China Top Cup and came into that 3rd, 4th place finish at Boston. Thunderbirds, previous DC, they won ESL and also came in that 3rd to 4th place finish at Boston. Then we have Newbie, who came in 2nd at ESL, 1st in a Chinese-only tournament, and 2nd at China Top Cup. And then, of course, VGJ, who came in 2nd at Star Ladder and 1st in their DAC qualifiers. And then, of course, we have our qualified teams with now Digital Chaos from North America, SG Esports from South America, Team Secret as the EU qualifier, Virtus Pro from CIS, IG Vitality and IG from China, and Team Faceless and TNC Pro Team from Southeast Asia. Group stages will be April 24th and 25th, and 16 teams will play in a single group using the Swiss system format. Now, I would recommend going and looking this up as it can be difficult to explain. However, in simplest terms, teams will all be playing each other. They will not play any other team more than once. They'll play in a best-of-3 format, and should a team win 3 series or lose 3 series, they are done with the group stages, and then we'll get their seeding into the main event based on that. Whew. Now, in other tournament news, we have quite a packed schedule in between Kiev and TI. Starladder iLeague Dota 2 Invitational Season 2 will be held in Shanghai, China from the 18th to the 21st of May. Offline finals will host 8 teams that will battle for $100,000. Now, 2 teams, VGJ and Newbie, have been invited, with qualifiers currently taking place to fill in the rest of the slots. Zotac will be hosting the Zotac Cup Masters at Computex Taipei, featuring a $100,000 prize pool, and it will run from May 30th to June 3rd. The 2 Zotac direct invites have not yet been announced. Cloud9 is the first team to qualify. There will be 5 other qualifying teams for a total of 8 teams. It's been announced that there will be another Epicenter, which is very exciting as that tournament and its previous iteration had incredible production value, so hopefully we'll see something similar. It will be run from June 9th to 11th, and 6 teams will be directly invited, with 1 qualified team from the Americas, EU/CIS, China, and Southeast Asia. OG is the first directly invited team, and we'll have to wait and see who the rest are. The Summit 7 has been announced. 4 teams will be directly invited, with VP the first of those invited teams, and then there'll be 4 qualified teams, 1 from each of the main regions. Dream League Season 7 will have their LAN at DreamHack Atlanta from July 21st to 22nd with the top 4 teams from the league. Now, DreamHack will be providing boot camps for any teams that qualify both for their LAN finals and for TI to help ease that transition, since this tournament is so close to the main event for TI7. The league will have 2 divisions. After the withdrawal of Team Bears that I mentioned earlier, they've added a second qualifier spot, with Vega and Team Empire qualifying for EU League play. And Dream League has entered some new territory, not only in having a LAN in North America, but also having a separate division for NA, with 1 team from this division progressing onto the LAN finals to join 3 European teams. Now, previous Team Onyx, now Team DC, qualified from the NA qualifiers to join Teams Complexity Thunderbirds and Team NP. And there is the list of upcoming premier tournaments, with several smaller ones in addition to online show matches also being played. So now that upcoming tournaments are out of the way, let's take a quick look back at DAC and see how it went. There were 12 teams total at the event, with 4 invited and 8 teams that qualified. Teams are split into 2 groups of 6, with the top 2 from each group advancing on into the upper bracket, and then the bottom 4 starting out in best of 1 lower bracket elimination games. OG and Team Empire and IG and Newbie placed in the top of their groups, with OG only dropping a single game up against VGJ. Now, before we go over the final results of DAC, let's take a look at the Pepto-Bismol plays of the tournament, the moments guaranteed to upset someone's stomach.
When IG gets that buyback, if they're going to be the team to kind of go right back to the initiative on pressure on Vitality or not.
Do you see what Vivoca's doing?
He's
bought a bunch of branches, he placed them in the base, and he's hiding within his own branches. That's actually awesome. I love that.
Which is it, fools?
That's some innovation right there.
Never mind. Lots of high ground defense there for IG. But
OP is one piece away from his Agnus.
Envy. What happened?
He died to a neutral. He toggled.
What happened?
I think he toggled, and he just got hit by the neutral and died.
oh, Envy. Luckily for you, I didn't catch that because I did not know you were going to do something like that.
Somebody does something a little weird that they don't think is necessarily the right play, they're not always ready for it.
Right, they're like a 3-man gank on like our offlaner or something. Like, how is that efficient? Like, look at all the space we're getting, but it still gets in your head.
It's like a classic Arteezy quote. I remember like playing with him and like butting heads with him, and I'm just being like, you cannot show on the map there. You cannot do that. And he's like, but they should not be here. Like, this is such a bad play from them. They're supposed to be over there farming or doing Roshan, but they're just here, sitting here, doing nothing.
Armor.
Envy through the tree line. He doesn't get close enough
He needs to hit
for the mid-range raise. He was already looking at the long one, but Burning is Envy walking into it. Burning will take him, and Envy taps out. Oh, wow. I had the high ground. That was a 50-50 play. Envy was like, I thought he was going to hit some blind. He's either going to double blind raise him or he's going to get double raise without doing anything.
So if we take a quick look at the bracket, starting off in the lower bracket, NP, LGDFY, Wings, and Liquid were eliminated first. IG Vitality was the furthest traveling lower bracket team, eventually being eliminated by Newbie and coming in 4th place. IG fell to OG in the upper bracket finals, but rallied in the lower bracket to beat Newbie 2-0. And that left us with OG and IG facing up again. But in a surprise turnaround, OG were unable to win a single game off of IG winning the series in a 3-0 sweep. IG took home just under $250,000 from the total $612,000 prize pool. Previous DAC champions, EG, came in that 5th to 6th place finish, earning themselves $37,000. And a few other bits and pieces of news. 7.05 was released following DAC with a large list of changes to rebalance the heroes that dominated at the China's tournament. Midas received a gold buff, but an XP nerf. Lena's respawn talent moved up to level 15 instead of being on level 10. And Treant Protector has been added to Captain's Mode, along with a whole bunch more changes, so hopefully we'll see some shifts in the meta at Kiev. And we also hope that teams had enough time to adapt and adjust accordingly. And in more recent changes, you will now earn reports in proportion based on how many games you play. And another little tidbit of interesting news, China will force games with loot boxes, or chests, like in Dota, to publicly expose their drop rates and probabilities. So now we'll know exactly how rare our rare items are if they go off of the China rates. Thanks for watching this episode of TLDR. I'll see you guys after the major to run through how the event went.